First graders, Miss McGaw here. I've sure missed all of you all, and I'm so glad we have the opportunity now that I can talk to you about religion. I know you have done the first 7 stations of the cross. Today, you're going to work on number 8. Jesus meets the kind women. Jesus, these women were crying for you in the middle of a crowd that was yelling and laughing at you. Help all mothers, especially those whose families have problems. And right now, we have a problem. We have to be away from school. So just remember, the women in this story had problems. Jesus had problems. We had problems. But we're all going to get through it together if we say our prayers every single day. So do a great job on this Station of the Cross. Color it neatly. Maybe you can send me a picture of it to show how nice you stayed in the lines. But today, I'm also going to read you a story called Walter the Baker. And you might be asking yourself the question, why? Why is Miss McGaw reading Walter the Baker? We've just gotten finished talking about Stations of the Cross. We're celebrating the sacred time of Lent in our church year. You'll find out at the end of the story. Listen carefully. Walter the Baker by Eric Carle. Long ago, in a town encircled by a wall, lived Walter the Baker, his wife Anna, and their son, Walter Jr. Walter the Baker was known even outside the walls of the town. He was the best baker in the whole duchy. Early one morning, while everybody else was still asleep, Walter would begin baking his breads, rolls, cookies, tarts, and pies. Anna sold the baked goods in the store. No one could resist the warm, sweet smells drifting from Walter's bakery. People came from near and far. The Duke and Duchess, who ruled over the duchy, loved Walter's sweet rolls. Every morning, Walter Jr. carried a basket full of warm, sweet rolls to the castle where they lived. Said the Duchess, spreading quince jelly on her roll. Ah, said the Duke, putting honey on his. And so each day was the same as the day before, until early one morning, when Walter's cat was chasing a mouse and tipped over the can of milk. "What will I do?" cried Walter. "I cannot make sweet rolls without fresh milk." In desperation, Walter grabbed a pitcher of water. "I hope nobody will notice the difference," he said, as he poured the water into the flour to make the dough. Now, you and I may not be able to tell the difference between a roll made with water and one made with milk, but the Duke, and especially the Duchess, could tell the difference. "Ugh!" cried the Duchess after she took a bite. "What is this?" roared the Duke. "Where is Walter the Baker? Bring him here at once." So Walter was brought before the Duke. "What do you call this?" roared the Duke. "This is not a roll. This is a stone." And with that, he threw it at Walter's feet. "I used water instead of milk," Walter admitted, hanging his head in shame. "Pack your things and leave this town and my duchy forever, shouted the Duke. I never want to see you again. My Duke, pleaded Walter, this is my home. Where will I go? Please, give me one more chance, please. I must banish you, said the Duke. But then he remembered how delicious Walter's rolls were and how much he and the Duchess would miss them. Well, Walter, the Duke started to say. Then he thought and thought some more. You may stay if you can invent a roll through which the rising sun can shine 3 times. And to make it more difficult, he added, it must be made from 1 piece of dough. And most of all, it must taste good. Now go home. Bring me such a roll tomorrow morning. Poor Walter. Worried and sad, he trudged back to the bakery. Walter worked all day and all night. He made long rolls, short rolls, round rolls, twisted rolls. He made thin rolls. He made fat rolls. He worked some more. He beat, he pulled, he pushed, he pounded the dough. But it was all in vain. He could not come up with a roll that would please the Duke. By early morning, Walter had only 1 long piece of dough left. It's hopeless, he cried. In a sudden fit of anger, he grabbed that last piece of dough and he flung it against the ceiling. Stick there, he yelled at the dough. But it didn't. It fell down, twisting itself as it dropped down, and it plopped into a bucket of water. Anna and Walter Jr. were awakened by Walter's yell, and they ran into the bakery just as Walter was about to dump out the water and the twisted piece of dough. Father, stop, shouted Walter Jr. Look! And Anna quickly popped the dough into the hot oven. Soon it was brown and crisp. She took out the roll and handed it to Walter. It hadn't risen very high, but it had 3 holes. Walter held up the twisted roll and smiled. He saw that the morning sun was shining through it 3 times. Walter put the roll into a basket and rushed to the castle to deliver the invention to the Duke and Duchess. And they too saw the morning sun shine through it 3 times. Walter was afraid to look because it was time for them to taste it. He had no idea how it would taste. Well done, said the Duke. Perfect, said the Duchess. Both were glad that Walter would not have to be sent away. And Walter, too, was happy that he could stay. Now, pray tell us, Walter, what do you call this? Asked the Duke. Pray, Walter stammered as he tried to come up with a name. What was that? Asked the Duke. Pretzel? Said the Duke. Pretzel it shall be from now on, he declared. It shall be sweet rolls in the morning and pretzels in the afternoon, said the Duchess. Walter returned to his bakery and he spent all day and night making pretzels. The next morning, there were baskets of pretzels outside the store for the whole town to taste, and a special basket of pretzels for the Duke and Duchess. And a cheer went up for Walter, the pretzel maker. Now, this is the explanation of why I'm reading this to you today. The word pretzel comes from the Latin word brachium, meaning arm. The pretzel was originally a simple bread eaten during Lent. Its shape is based on an ancient position for prayer in which the arms were folded across the chest and the hands were placed on opposite shoulders. Just like this. Isn't this what we do when we go up to get our blessing during communion? Just like a pretzel. So perhaps next time you fold your arms like this, you will think about Walter the baker and how he figured out how to make a pretzel. Bye, first graders. I hope you liked the story. Hopefully I'll be reading you things soon, maybe even bringing a puppet or two along. Bye-bye.